Hey guys, Priest and Sky here
Hello.
with our first podcast for Nerding Wednesday of 2022. What a free we made it, eh? To yap about Disney's latest hit animated movie, Encanto. What are your thoughts on the movie? If you watched it, let us know in the comment section down below. But first, make sure you subscribe if you're feeling Nerding Wednesday. Leave a like on the video, share with your friends. If you're viewing this on YouTube, rate the podcast if you're on one of the streaming services. Me and Sky's social link will be down in the description along with our sponsor. Now, Encanto. This is the latest thing that everyone and their mother is talking about. Encanto. Right now, Encanto's songs is trending number one on YouTube Music. Even though it came out like in November, I believe, late November, people can't get enough of it.
Yeah, it's at its prime at the moment.
Exactly, and I don't blame it. I don't blame it. So my overall thought on Encanto is the fact that I think it represents the Colombian culture, showing the different skin tones, because Colombians come in different tones and complexion and everything, and showing the rich culture of the Latino community. It was beautiful. I thought this was based on Mexico. I didn't know it was in Colombia. This movie low-key educate me like, no, not everything's Mexico. We in Colombia, and the most I've came to Latin America was Dora the Explorer. So
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Baminos! Dora.
That's crazy. Don't catch him outside. Don't catch him slipping.
Oh man, that's the closest. That's the closest. So they really did a good job. What are your thoughts?
I mean, overall, I kind of liked the movie. I appreciated the aesthetic, the coloration. Like you said, the different skin tones of color. One of the things I really appreciated was the males in the movie, mostly the dads. They're very loving. I really appreciated. How to say it? I kind of just appreciated the overall theme that they were going for with family.
Right.
You know.
Yes. And what we're going to talk about in depth later on, because I think that was the whole movie is about family and the struggles it goes through, the ups and downs. And we're not perfect, but if we actually talk about things, we can get through it. Disney put their foot in this. I must say,
they
really
did research.
They did their research. For once, they did their research and actually engulf themselves in a culture outside of what they're used to. And representation is needed. And I'm glad they actually showcased this show to the full extent, which I love so much. So anyway, Sky, you want to explain to our listeners, just in case they don't know, what is Encanto?
Okay, let's see. Brief summary of Encanto. So, Encanto is essentially a movie based off a family of the Mirabelles who live behind the mountains. Within the mountains, there's a town, and these townspeople are most likely protected and cared for by the Mirabelles, the Encanto family. They all have powers except for Mirabelle, and essentially, they all have a duty to care for the family with their special gifts. But Maribel, due to her not having a special gifts, runs into some issues with the family. So overall, the family starts to fall apart, and in the end, it's up to Maribel to kind of put them back together. The one without powers.
Right. Maribel is a very interesting character. What are your thoughts on her? Because
To be honest, I mean, I could enjoy Maribel. In some sense, personally, to me, she was also kind of generic. But I feel like
I agree.
I feel like it's the form of genericy, like just how she looks and maybe how she acts. Like I feel like her genericness is relatability. Like you can really relate to her in a sense. Why I kind of say it, like the way she looks, the way she acts is a pretty prominent thing that a lot of people can relate towards. So I think like she fits the main character's role. If you guys get what I'm saying, it's just like how she looks, how she acts. It just fits.
Yeah, I agree. She's very generic. She's the typical Disney hero, misunderstood, trying their best to do the right thing and then always backfires. Like, it's a simple Disney formula that always works. So I can't bash them for something. Stick to what works.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I liked her. Then coming through, I thought she was kind of a little annoying.
Annoying. Yeah.
And because it's like you poking your nose and stuff, like you need to back off, just back off, just back off. When someone say that, just leave it alone, leave it alone. And but she's always, which I
Yeah,
think is,
she was very stubborn.
yeah, she's
Which
very
she,
stubborn. She's
yeah.
very stubborn, and I think that was one of her character flaw, in my opinion. That fact that she didn't know how to just stay still. No one asks. I feel it's like a invasion of people's boundaries when someone say, the sisters, everyone say, please, please, just leave me alone, leave this alone. It's like she keep trying to say, but I can help, I can help, I can help, I can do it. Like, no, you're
But I
invading.
can't blame her. That's the thing. Like, it's problematic, but you can't blame her because she has nothing else to kind of live for. So it's kind of like, oof.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a character flaw, but which I understand why the flaw is there. I understand. But even so, when I was doing my little bootleg research on Maribel, when I found that the voice actor is the lady from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, have you ever watched the
Oh yeah,
show?
definitely.
Yeah, I was shocked because it's like a 360. If you all know, Rosa Diaz on Brooklyn, she's the tough cop, who played no nonsense, always face screw up. I did not get Maribel voice is so bubbly and
Yeah, you
sounds
didn't expect
so
it from her,
kid.
right? Yeah.
That's some good range, I must say.
If you
That
didn't
shows.
expect that from her, you should see her first. Like the first time I saw her singing was in The Heights. That's a musical, also with I think Colombian Hispanic in New York. Um,
Hmm.
so she also was singing in that, and her acting, like totally, again, completely 180 on her character in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So it was a pleasant surprise to see her and the way she sang and all of that. So to know that she sang in
Yeah.
here, I could kind of be like, you know what, they chose the right person for that.
Yeah, she have range. She have range because I would never thought even though that's the whole point of acting. You could play any role. That's a good thing. Where you could play a douchebag, a saint, a evil person, a good person. The whole point of being a great actor and an actress. I think she did a great job when it comes to that. Knowing that who was behind Maribel's voice, I'm like, wow, wow, Disney, y'all really doing good with this casting. I must say, and to see a lot of Latino and Black people, I was like, what? I say there's a lot of melanin in this cast. For once, they said, we're not going to use a white woman or a white man to play these different people. There is range there if you invest the time to look for it. There are talented Latinos, talented Asians, there are talented Black people who could play the role you draw if you would just give them a chance. And Encanto did that thing. They give the POC community, people of color, they gave them the chance, and I'm loving it. I really do. Now, just a brief little commercial from sponsors, aka the Graphic Shack guys. Now, if you're into graphics, you want stuff like cool design, portraits, you name it. Shoot, if you want a Mirable painting or whatever, our team could do it. Shoot, even Sky could do it. We got that coloring on lock. We could do the t-shirt, jacket prints. Guys, we have a digital drawing, painting on canvas. You have it there, the Graphic Shack guys. All the link will be down in the description. Now, thoughts on the family. What do you think about this interesting cast of?
Okay, let me tell you about this
Hmm,
family. I made sure to look up their name and everything. All right.
right.
So obviously based on the song when she was singing up everyone, which is personally I was upset when she was singing all the family names because I couldn't keep up with it. When I first
Hmm.
run through the song, I had to keep pausing it. I was like, what are the names? They kept going through everyone, but I mean, it's enjoyable music, so I can't really be upset. But so we have Pepe, the aunt.
Hmm.
We have Bruno, the uncle, and then we have Freita. I think that's her name. She's the mother of Maribel. So you have
Hmm.
Pepe's children are Dolores, Camilo, and Miguel. Then you have Faida's.
Martha Black man.
Yeah. And Faida's children, Maribel's sisters, are Louisa and Isabella. So that's the family. Yes, I would say that's the family so far. It's funny to me because I feel like Pepe's side of the family, everyone who's dressed in yellow, I feel like their powers are chaotic, right? So I know everyone's powers kind of relate to them in the family. They all have a purpose in the family, which makes sense. But since their powers are supposed to help the town, to me, I thought, yo, why their side? What do they benefit? Like, what does Pepe's problem with the weather? She can control the weather, but it's all based off her emotions. So it's like, how does that help the people? You know?
Well, you know, she probably could help with crops or
Yeah, that's the thing. But wouldn't that mean like she has to be sad for that?
not if she know how to control it.
No,
You
but
know,
that's
if
the
she know how
thing.
to.
You can't control it. It's based off her emotions. So whatever she's feeling, it has to come out. So it's like if you want rain, you need to make her sad. You need to make her stressed out. And so it's like that's kind of like chaotic. Like that's kind of sad for her. Her daughter Dolores, she could hear everything. She could hear every gossip in town. Like that's like very mischievous. You know what I'm saying? Even the whole talking about Bruno throughout the song is like you could hear everything, and then you could talk about everyone behind their back because you know everyone. You know the dirt of everything. Like you can't keep a
Right,
secret.
but you know, I never that power of hers where she can listen to anything from far away. I'm trying to figure, but doesn't she know that Bruno lives in the house? Like,
Essentially. But we'll get to that part. Because I don't know. There's like so much about the movie I want to talk about. And then you have Camilo. He can transform. He could literally turn into anyone. Why?
Right.
What purpose does this have? Like it has no purpose to me at all. The only purpose is you could become a Joker by just making fun of other people.
I think he likes to portray other people. I think that's why I think their power reflect their personalities. And I think Disney is trying to go where, when it comes to the mother, she has mood issues, like she might be bipolar or schizophrenic or whatever it may be. So, you know, and she have a husband that supports her, that loves her, and actually he takes her for her flaws and help keep her calm. That's a good dynamic, a healthy relationship where the fact that, you know, you're my yin to my yang.
Yeah, that's why I appreciated him, honestly. That's why I appreciated him.
Yes,
He's very loving.
He's very cheerful. He's funny. He always would make his wife happy, and I think that was a great moment to show that we all have different problems, but to find a partner that complements our issues and can help us get out of it. That's beautiful. I love to see healthy, especially a healthy couple, because a lot of time you always portray people fighting or when are we gonna show that like an inner thing where it doesn't have to be like marriage is such a bad thing or whatever. But anyway, when it comes to Dolores is the one who can hear, right?
She could hear everything, but she has a quiet voice.
I think with her, I think she's nosy.
Yeah,
and I think that's why she had the power to listen, because she can hear anything pique her interest. So
based on what I heard, essentially she might be based off the family member that hears everything, but when she tries to talk about it, they keep telling her quiet, don't say nothing, because she might mention something because she could hear everything. So that's why she has a soft voice, because in that there's a family member that knows everything, but they can't say nothing because they're trained to be quiet, around the presence. And she's one of the oldest children, so I'm pretty sure she was able to get that backlash first, So that was something that would have been someone talked about, and I was like, what, that kind of makes sense,
Right. And Camilo, he likes to portray other people. He might want to be an actor.
They say he's like a theater child, but I feel like maybe he might be that child that doesn't know what he wants to be. So he has to be everyone in the family because people have to like him. So he has to keep portraying himself as someone else, So I could see that as a family habit of someone, within a family.
Right, exactly. Because even later on in the film, where he tried to speak his mind, it was like, be quiet, like no, he's saying, "Man, I can't say this." Yeah. And then the youngest one, when he got his power to, communicate with animals, because he have that heart where he could reach out to different creatures. I think that's a dope
Yeah, I thought that was a
ability.
cool ability. I said, you know what, out of everyone inside her family member, that one can help the most compared to everyone
Yeah,
else.
that's
That
true.
one, that one's very helpful. But then you have
Yeah,
Maribel's family members who, honestly, they could help everyone in town, especially
yeah.
Louisa and the mother. You know, she could heal anyone with just her food. Louisa can basically
Hmm.
lift anything. She's durable, you know. So she's
Right.
honestly, I feel like they abused Louisa's abilities. Like when the man was like, "Yo,
Yeah,
the
that's why
donkeys are
she
out," and she's like, "I got it." I
right.
was like, "This dude know he can handle these donkeys. He didn't need to call on this young girl for that." You know. So
Exactly. Her thing was she carried her family's burden. Everyone always needed to do stuff. Like she never had time for herself.
yeah, she had to be the strong one.
Yeah, even when it comes to Isabella, the fact that everyone wants to be her to be perfect because she's pretty. So it's like, oh, she can't do anything outline because it'll go against the image they want her to portray. Like this was so crazy how much the family tries to control your image. And this is just beautiful. Now let's talk about the matriarch of this whole shebang. And
Abuela,
I know you're gonna jack this up. Umbrella?
abuela,
Umbrella? How you pronounce it?
abuela.
Abuela. Is she the that's what Spanish for grandmother or no?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Ah man, when I saw her character, I didn't know she's gonna be betrayed as this, you know.
I I
I thought she was just
I
hmm?
kind of saw it like coming, like
Mm.
after the way she talked to Maribel when she came back from singing about the family and the way she talked to Maribel. I was like, I can't believe she treated her like that. Something off, you know?
Yes, that's true. That's true. Because even when after the beginning of the song, Dolores said, oh, she ain't got no powers.
Yeah, Dolores didn't need to do that. She didn't need to do that. She was how far away? She was outside the town, and she came back to just say she ain't got no powers.
Yes. I'm not even focused on it because you know that's what cousins, you know, especially
Yeah,
when you're young, you do stupid things like that. But I'm talking about Umbrella. She just when she said that, she just walked like, yeah, that's true. She ain't got no powers for true, and she walked off when doing one thing. I'm like, you supposed to say as an adult that don't say that about her. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's not right.
yeah.
Don't say it like that. She's special in her own way. That was her time to step up. Like you mentioned, that was the starting point. You realize what type of character she is. And I think she represents the toxic trait in a lot of family
Yeah.
homes. A
Oh
lot.
yeah. Especially elder generation. Yeah.
Yes, when it comes to let's not talk about this. Let's not talk about. Let's have a good time. This actually reminds me of a situation with my own family. That's why I said, man, I can relate to this a lot. Where something in my and I say this briefly, guys. I'm not going to try to go too much off topic. It was something that went down in my family, and everyone knew about it. No, but what this particular family member did, and how they did something really bad, but no one wants to talk about it. And we supposed to come to the Christmas dinner and break bread and cheers like this person didn't do something despicable. No, it's only once a year we've come together. Why we want to talk about it? It isn't about talking about the fact that why we gotta keep this on the hush. Why we gonna just sit here like this person's not a bad person or didn't do something wrong and not talk about it? Or even say, even acknowledge that it was wrong. No, we won't have a good time. That is, we love to hide stuff under the rug, sweep it under the rug. No, no, let's not talk about
I
it.
could kind
And if
of,
you talk about it, you try and start problems.
I could kind of understand. You know, on the Christmas day, you want to just kind of relax for the Christmas day, but then after that, maybe it's best to talk about it. But
No, but this is what I'm trying to say, Sky. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm not talking about cock, but on the singing Christmas Day. I'm trying to say,
oh, okay.
if you're planning a Christmas dinner and you want to bring everyone together, you know this particular family member wrong two people in the family, and you don't want to talk about it. You didn't even say you give the invitation out to this person, knowing that is wrong. It didn't know like this might be a you thing or whatever. You know right and wrong. We all have that complex in us. Well, hopefully, a lot of people don't. But you have that complex where you know it's wrong, and you think in the midst of your invitation, you'd be like, you need to make it right with your cousins.
Mm.
That was off. But again, we hate being in uncomfortable situations. We don't like to do it. We always like to sweep on the rug and be like cheering, everyone pretending fake smiles. And it's just amazed me. And I said Encanto, they really touched on that. And me, this where I will admit I'm coming in ignorant territory. In myself, I always assumed that was a black thing. Where in the black community, we don't like to talk amongst our family, even though this is a multi culture family Encanto, but still, you always assume that, oh, only in the black community, we don't like to talk about stuff. We just want to keep it moving and all the sake of a facade. I really appreciate Encanto. It wasn't a typical Disney movie where we just talk about, oh, she's a princess, she need to be saved. Oh, it's in a distant foreign land on space, magic. Well, it just have magic in it. But it really, the whole plot of this story was about family and family talking about what the real issues is. Now, do you think Umbrella was the antagonist of the movie?
Honestly, I feel like everyone was an antagonist to themselves.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, because obviously,
Why you say that?
because you ever realize, like, throughout the entire movie, it doesn't seem like they know each other.
That's true.
So it
That's
felt
true.
like the family only ever gets together when eating, which is fine. You know, most families only ever get together when they're eating and they get to talk to one another. But it felt like at the same time, they're so busy with being the perfect family that they were not the perfect family to themselves. You know, they never talked to each other.
Right.
So that's why when Maribel talked to Luisa about, you know, do you know about why the house going down or why your eyes twitching because you must know something about the house, it wasn't the fact that she cared about Luisa's feelings. You know, it seemed like she was more concerned about the house. She didn't say, "Yo, is there something wrong? Why does your eye keep twitching?" It's just about, you know, something, tell me. You know. So then Luisa's like, "Let me tell you about how I feeling," and then she felt good after telling about it because that's what family's for. You know, you talk to each other. But it felt like they were never comfortable to talk to each other because they have their own.
Yeah, because I'm Aguela.
They have their own
Be
thing,
normalized, not talking about things that are not perfect.
basically.
And even the fact that you could, just to build off of what you were saying, when it came to the cousins, they don't talk to each other either.
That's
They
what I'm
don't
saying.
talk. They
They
don't
don't
even
talk to each other.
communicate. They don't even communicate because it's like Dolores and Isabella. Dolores have a huge crush on the guy who have a crush on Isabella. But if they would have talked, they would have known that. But again, Umbrella, she ready make up her mind that Isabella's gonna be with the perfect guy. So it's like, no, y'all two need to be together. Y'all good looking. Y'all need to be together. Dolores couldn't even talk about her own feelings. So that is wild. I said, I think that's what made it so relatable to everyone. Because I'm sure everyone in their family, some point or whatever, was reflected in this movie. Somewhat. And it was amazing. And through Maribel, even though it was, I agree with you, it was kind of selfish reasons why she even started to figure out her sister's day to day or the pain her sister going through. It's because she's trying to figure what's going on in the house.
Yeah.
If the house was never falling apart, she would never know her sister
feeling
was
bad.
hurting and feeling bad. Even down to Isabella, her being jealous about her sister all this time. Her sister was just tired of never having a day where she could be herself. It's all about when you envy someone from the outside. They always say you never know what's going on from the outside. Everything always looked good. The house looked nice. It painted nice, but when you go inside, you see a lot of cracks.
There's actually,
And that's what people never. That's why I don't envy no one.
there's actually a little clip. They kind of showed
Mhm.
the things they took out from the Encanto before the movie, and apparently you never see Luisa's room. And the reason you never see it, you know, she's running outside of the room, but inside her room, I guess they designed it to be kind of stoned, to be tough. But inside the room, she had her own personal back door that she can go to be herself, which is all nice and girly or having fun, you know, instead of always being serious and trying to keep things together. So that was an idea that they were planning on putting in the movie. So I thought that was
Actually, they didn't show a lot of their rooms.
Yeah.
One room they showed was Mirabel, the youngest boy, and
Miguel.
Bruno.
Yeah.
And that's it. The only close we got from
Isabella.
Bella is just the window. And Isabella, yeah, Isabella. So we didn't really get to see the rest of everyone. I mean, it's only so much you can put in the film.
Only so much you could do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the family
Yeah.
was also supposed to be bigger than what it was. They had a lot of more characters within the family to represent more family members, like a hot-headed girl who was on fire a lot. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. There's a full clip of this.
No. It's artwork. It's a lot of concept work.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, yeah.
Well, yes. You know, the crazy thing is that, do you think Umbrella was even the reason why they lost their powers? But I think you might think all of them was the reason why. But everything have a starting point, though. Everything have a starting point. I think as the matriarch, she was the starting point. She's the one who gave them the powers, and she's the reason why they're losing it too. Because they wasn't being true to themselves. They're abusing their powers and they're not happy with it. So basically, the powers, in my theory, is the fact that you're pretending you're happy with it because your grandmother, but you're really, truly, you could do without it. And that's when the power is taken away, in my opinion.
I think it was more so the family just wasn't a family anymore.
Well,
So
yeah.
because the flame only gave it to them because, you know, she had love and she wanted to take care of her family, but after a while it just didn't seem like maybe she had cared as much, possibly. So maybe that's why the house started breaking down and everything, because Maribel didn't feel like she was part of the family and she was ready to leave. And then boom, the house was like, nope, the family must stick together. So something's acting up.
It just shows you how people change a lot when they get new stuff. And I think that's another teachable moment. It's the fact that you start off with nothing, but when you got something, you end up getting stuck up and so absorbing and your success that you're even neglecting your family member. Because even when it comes to Maribel, she didn't even care to make her even a part of the circle. Powers or no powers, you still will make her feel included. And even Maribel's mother alluded to that, saying that you always put her down. But I feel as a parent, even though they stick up for her in the end, I'm trying to figure as a parent, why are you chastising someone else to treat your child? You say, you know what? Since my daughter isn't good enough for you as a parent, we can leave. But that's something, again, that's something the family struggles to do, is the fact that we need to put ourselves in other people's shoes. The famous line is that, well, what they got to do with me? It's like, that's toxic, because we all want someone in our corner to do it for us. You can't have that mindset like, well, that's something between y'all two. No, you can't be like that, because everyone have a day in a rope when someone can pull on you, and you will look for your family to support you. But you remember when you said it about me? I always tell people karma is very funny. Stop thinking about yourself and actually say what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. I don't understand how we could judge strangers, but in our own family, we like, oh, that has nothing to do with me. That's crazy.
Honestly, during the scene where everyone took the picture, I was like, I ain't trust no one. I don't trust none of these family members. I was like, the moment y'all got up there and then everyone said cheese, I was like, and y'all ain't checked to see who was there? I ain't trusting none of y'all.
Right,
like, yeah,
right,
bro, that's
right.
disrespectful. But you know.
It was crazy, man. It was crazy. And I felt bad for her later on. I said I thought she was kind of annoying, but when you actually see why she is the way she is, it's because of her grandmother. Why she always want to prove herself.
Honestly, she really loves her grandmother. You could see it from the first
She
part
does. No,
of the movie.
you could love someone and still be mentally abused by them. You know.
No. What I'm saying is, like in the beginning,
Mhm.
she loves her grandmother. So when her grandmother was
Right.
telling the story, she was so excited, you know.
Mhm.
And after the whole thing messed up, and she looked at her grandmother, wanted that approval. She didn't get that approval at that moment when she wasn't able to get her a gift. So something. So after that point, she just kept striving for the approval that she always wanted from her
Right.
grandmother, like she used to, you know. And I feel like that's kind of sad that you used to talk with someone like your grandmother,
Right.
all lovingly, and then out of nowhere she don't like you. Then it's like, yo, what's going on? You know, kind of.
You're not useful anymore. But her mother always tried to reassure by her that she's special without the powers. But I'm like, but at the end of the day, you see your daughter being constantly picked apart by your mother. And I understand she might be afraid of her mother too. So I don't know. You know, still,
It's
I
a
can't really
hierarchy thing, you know.
bring too hard on the mother as well, because like how she was conditioned as well. She was conditioned to not basically challenge her mother. So I think Mirabel's, she is the only one who actually challenged the status quo.
Until the
status
end,
quo.
then her father challenged her.
Yeah, finally, step up,
He
man.
said, hold on. I ain't care about this house no more. I care about my daughter first. And I was like,
Who
oh.
built the house? I think really mess.
I think I care about the
Wow.
family status quo.
Like I said earlier, Encanto did a great job showing the issues in each family home. Some might have it more than others. There's no such thing as a perfect home. And showing the consequences of a family that don't talk about what's bothering them and how much it affects us, and letting us normalize, you know, speaking. Something bothering you, something's not right. Talk about it. Not be ashamed, or everyone always make you the bad guy when you actually exposes the flaws. We are human. We are not perfect.
Mhm.
And I glad at the end of Encanto, the grandmother realized that, you know what, she was wrong. So anyway, Bruno, the outcast of the family,
Yeah, let's
what's
talk
your thoughts
about
on him?
Bruno.
I think it's one of the best soundtrack on there. I think that's number one.
Yeah, I think that's
Is
the one.
is it
I
Bruno?
think it's most likely because of Dolores. I feel like most people like Dolores scene because how she's softly spoken.
Yes, because she didn't really get no singing part like that. And her vocals was one of the strongest.
Yeah.
Angela, I thought I didn't too particular about everyone singing. If you ask me, I thought it was like mediocre. Usually, Disney is hire someone else. Like they have the actors, and then they'll hire someone to sing for the actors. But now it look like they trying to let everyone sing what they gotta sing. But after watching the whole movie, I like the songs after watching the whole movie. Because when I saw the little clips here and there, I said, these vocals kind of shaky. I was like, geez, Disney known for their songs. I said, these vocals kind of mediocre. But when you watch the full movie, then you'll be like, you appreciate the songs better. But Bruno, let's not talk. But Bruno I think, was really good. Especially like you said, when Dolores was talking about the vision he had about her. I think a lot of people felt that for her when she said, when you love someone, but that someone you love going to marry someone else. I think a lot of people could relate to the fact that, they're not with the person they want to be with. So that's interesting. So what's your overall thought on him?
I mean, I like him. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him. I feel like he was shaped by society, which made him be the way he is now. And I felt bad for him because by the end of the movie, and I could be wrong, I felt like he didn't get as much justice. At least the most justice I kind of wanted from him was that someone say I'm sorry to him. Because I feel like, for one, he's been gone for what, 10 years? He left the family for 10 years, so they ain't seen him in 10 years, right? And
Right.
all because people were afraid of his visions, and he didn't know how to obviously use his visions to help the family, so he would just say it, because he needs to know how to help the family. And he's been doing this for such a long time. He's a whole grown man doing this for such a long time, and people just don't like him because of his visions, and I feel like because of that they kept wrapping, misinterpreting his visions, because his visions is always just a piece. He can't tell you the whole story, and I feel like because people keep looking at his piece and seeing it as something bad, it just never went well for him. So instead, at the end of the movie, and again I could be wrong, he went and apologized for his visions to everyone. And then in my mind, I'm like, no, they kind of need to apologize to you, because essentially they made you a social outcast, and made you actually more, what do you call it? He has a little tick where he has to do his knock knock on wood thing, because of people, because he got more superstitious. I think that's what they call it, superstitious.
Yeah, I think if he sees bad stuff, he really wants to, like, I guess he's off vision of bad things happening. He's saying, you know what, let me do these stuff for good luck. Hopefully a good vision will come out instead of a bad one. I think that's probably why one of the reasons he probably did it.
Maybe because he also throws salt behind him just so nothing bad happens. Because I feel like overall, if you really hear his visions, they're not bad visions. Honestly, they're just a piece of what was going to happen. So he's just, to him, he's like, okay, let me warn them in case something bad happens. Like say Peppa on her wedding day, he said it was gonna rain, and because of that, that's why it rained. So yeah, he apologized about that.
I saw someone on TikTok said that they believe the reason why he told her it's gonna rain is because he's trying to say it's okay. I don't know. That's a song theory. It's like,
That's what he said. Yeah, he said in the song, yeah, it's gonna be okay because you're gonna have your ups and downs in life. But I guess it
yes,
wasn't able to really translate well for her because she's very, I guess she gets panicky
emotional.
very easily. She gets very
Yes.
anxiety ridden.
He tries to say just let it out, let it out. If it's gonna happen, let it happen. You
Yeah,
know.
so
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought that the way the family portrayed him, they portrayed him like he was like he was a villain, like he was some type of demon or monster, and it just showed you that again back to family and family structure. They plague him as the bad guy because he spoke the truth. He knew what flaws each of the family may have, or anything that goes against basically the perfect vision of themselves. He's the enemy, and how they villainize him, it was very disgusting. And the thought that your own mother helped make you a talking point in the family and your community, that your son is a villain, that is so that giving me third Hokage from Naruto. That's giving me third Hokage Naruto when it comes to the way you handle stuff. Your mother, the person who gave life to you, allowed nasty rumors to spread that your son is a villain, knowing that your son is just misunderstood. And, but she just want to protect her image. So she didn't even care sacrificing her son's happiness.
yeah, he was the scapegoat.
Exactly. She knew about Maribel's
No, she
vision.
didn't.
And that's probably why she
She
was.
didn't know.
No, remember
She didn't know.
he showed her
No,
it.
he didn't.
He asked her to see the vision of the
Yeah, he
family.
never showed it to her. He just disappeared. He didn't decide to show it to her because he said he knew what was going to happen if he did. They were just going to think bad of it as usual. That's why he said he just dipped. He wasn't into that. So I was like, bro,
Wow.
that's kind of tragic that he basically left for say 10 years and ain't no one gone to look for him.
That's wild. That is wild.
I thought about that too. I was like, that's sad. Your own family members ain't even try to look for you. That's
Yes.
that's how bad they thought about you.
Yes, that's just. Let me tell you something, and I have to praise Encanto for showing this. This showed you a toxic family. This shows you what the length of family would go to keep a perfect image. And guys, I know for firsthand how it felt to be a Bruno. And the family, they do not care. If you're going to ruin the image they set up from themselves, you are an enemy. And if you go missing, it's business as usual. And that's wrong. That is wrong. And that's crazy. And I hope stuff like this.
I say it's heartbreaking because he was living right there all the time, and because he say he loves his family. Why would he leave? So it's like, oh.
And the thing about Dolores knew he's there.
she yes and no. She just could hear him muttering, so she didn't know exactly. She just thought, he's far away somewhere, but she could hear him.
Sky, you don't believe that one time Bruno said that he
I feel like Dolores is a whole catalyst. Yeah, that's why she said she can only associate him with falling sand, which is like the salt he keeps walking around.
I think that's a sloppy writing. That's just convenient writing, if you ask me, because it's like, you tell me Bruno never once say, shh, I hope they don't know I got behind the thing. Let's be quiet, mouses. Like, you tell me not once he ever said to himself where he was.
That's why I feel like Dolores is just a whole catalyst within the movie. She wild, bro. That's all I can say. Like, she knew about. Okay, so let's tell you everything Dolores do. That's kind of like, oof. Why'd you do that? One, she say, yeah, Maribel ain't got no gifts in front of everyone. No, and she far away listening to the song Groovin' and everything. She came back at that point to say she ain't got no gifts, and she leave. Two, she talk about Louisa and her eyes. She ain't even check on Louisa. She just say, well, that ain't none of my business. Three, she talking about Bruno around the house. If she knew that he was there, technically she could try and find him, right? You would think that's possible, right? She ain't even try. She ain't even say, hey fam, I can help you all out.
Like that part, we have to give her the fact that you, when your family, your mom, your dad, your grandmother, they all
Yeah,
condition
that's
you to
true.
making
They
him a
say don't
villain.
talk about it. It's so sad because even Camilo sees him as a villain and he don't know nothing about the uncle. He know nothing about the uncle because him and Maribel are around the same age. And if Maribel don't know nothing about her uncle, it's to the point where Camilo only know how his uncle look and just portray him as a villain. I was like, yo, that's sad. That's what happens when kids only hearing the stories, you know? Yeah. You ain't get you ain't you could only depict what you hear, you know?
Yeah.
What does Dolores do?
I think his story, like you said, I think you just said this, that he's the most saddest one in the whole story because
He's
he
done
was done the
terribly.
worst. Like no one cared to search for him or look for him or even try to understand him or whatever. Anguilla literally lost her way in her own fantasy. She lost her way the fact that she neglected her own son just to be perfect. And it's crazy. And all for what? Do you think her backstory was even enough to say why she turned the way she is? Because like you neglect your only son, your husband died protecting the village, the village people, and your children's the only thing of a connection you all have with him. And you say, you know what, I'm going to take care of these three kids by myself. I'm going to raise them and do my best. But now one of your child go missing because y'all keep misunderstanding him. And as a mother, you don't even try to say, you know, I only get a hug. He's ready to
Hey,
chastise his mother and say, you know what, da da da. And all she did was hug him to shut him up. Basically,
I was so
I know it's
upset with
very
the
cheap.
ending. I tell you that now. I was disappointed
Yeah,
that all that build up and that happened. I was like, that's it. I say, you know, I mean, in truth, that can help a lot of people. Like sometimes they just need to embrace that love, you know? And I could understand that. But to me,
mm,
that's why I said for me, it didn't feel like they ended Bruno on a good note. I feel like he came to try and explain himself and everything, and he get shut up, and he had to be the one to apologize. And I was like, I didn't like that.
right. I mean, you know, they don't. I understand they don't want to
No,
focus too
that's
much.
all I wanted to hear was them to say sorry. That was it. That would have solved most. That would have solved my issue right there. Just say sorry. Even in the song, if you would have said sorry, no one said sorry. That's what I'm saying. They
Yeah,
just said
yeah,
welcome back. We're
yeah.
just
That's
happy
true.
you're here. And it's like, nah, bro, that's cheesy,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Even with Maribel and Abuela ending,
yeah. I
I
agree.
didn't like that. I didn't like that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree. But I understand there's only supporting it.
That's the problem. The most I ever want to hear is just I'm sorry. Like that's a powerful word that none
Yeah.
was used.
And you know something that's true. That could have been a huge staple because that's number one thing in a family we don't like to say is sorry.
Yeah,
We just
and
keep it moving.
which is like that's a usual family thing. I could accept that. My friend and I we was talking about that. I was like, I don't like the ending. He said, you know what? I concur. I actually like the ending because that's actually reality. And in my mind, I was like, it may be based on reality, but at the same time, you kind of telling kids who watch the movie, you don't have to say sorry. You just move on.
I agree with you. I see. This is the thing about normalizing toxic behavior. Well, that's reality. No, the whole point is to give a movie to help push the culture in a different way of life. You know, it's okay to say sorry if you hurt someone, even if your intention was not to hurt someone, but you know that they still felt bad. You say, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. That was not my intention to do that." That doesn't make you
Yeah,
weak. That do not make you soft or you're giving this person the power. You're admitting that you're wrong. The only wrong I'm admitting to is that I hurt your feelings. I'm making you feel pain. Some type of emotion in you right now. I've caused that. Not by intentionally, but unintentionally. So I'm going to let you know that I'm sorry so you can heal. In the family, we don't do that. And that was a good moment. Since you brought up and since you use your friend as example, now I definitely siding with you on this for sure. It's a fact that we have to normalize saying sorry.
that's it. And
That's it.
like at the end, because I have so many like little small tidbits about the ending. It's just mostly Maribel was crying, right? So her abuela shows up. Nice
Hmm.
introduction, right? You got her sitting down and
Hmm.
whatnot. Uh, Maribel says she's sorry. She just didn't want the family to fall apart. You know? That's Maribel saying all her apologies and why she do what she have to do. Abuela can tell what she have to do was, she could explain, which I didn't like, that they had to go through the entire story again, the beginning on how she ran away, how she had the three kids. Because I feel like that's kind of weird. You kind of already said that in the beginning, but that's just a personal pet peeve.
Right.
So I guess it's fine that you replay it again to be more in depth. But even though after she said that, she just said, I did this for the family. I just didn't know how the family was. But she didn't say sorry. She just said, I just didn't know how you guys were or whatever. And let's go home, type of thing. So I just felt like, you could explain to me why you do what you do.
Yeah.
But if you don't apologize, why would I accept that you do what you do?
Right. So, what do you think? Because I want to talk about it briefly because we wind down to the time. Because they had a conspiracy about Maribel and why she didn't get her powers. The first conspiracy, was the fact that she when she touched the candle,
she wiped off her hand.
She wiped her hands.
I thought that was kind of funny.
Yes. So there's like, and that's a good detail. Disney don't do stuff accidentally. They very detail oriented. So it's like, was that really the cause of why she lost her powers? And the second reason was why they say she didn't get a power, she got a door and everything, because she's supposed to be the next abuela, whatever you call it. She was to be the next one, the next handle.
Honestly,
candle holder.
I thought about
she was
that
the next
too.
candle
I
holder.
thought about the fact that there's multiple speculations on her power. One is actually she could actually stop time uninherently, and no one knows. But in the singing break, So with the candle thing, I joke around about that one, saying the house felt disrespected and said no door for you. so you touch my candle and wipe it off? No. For the second one, whereas she's supposed to be the next one for the grandmother, I thought that as well, because I said the Grammy doesn't have any powers, so that's why.
I mean, she had the power to give people powers.
She don't have that power.
But you don't know.
She don't have no power.
You only have the power to give
her
people
only
powers.
Power is her stature, is her status, that she's grandmother. That's the only power she weigh. Opinion though, but to me, she don't have no powers. That's why I felt like she shouldn't have treated Maribel the way she treated her. I felt like you should know very well what it means not to have no abilities. I feel like at that moment.
But the house actually, in another conspiracy was the fact what they're trying to say why they believe she's going to be next.
To her.
Abuela. Yes, that's the next.
I've been looking around.
The house listened to her, and the house actually, when the house kicked everyone out, the house was still allowing Maribel to stay inside to get the candle.
Yeah, because the house is saving everyone, but Maribel's like, let me try and help you. So the house is like, y'all get out. That Maribel try and help me out, and then the house is like, goodbye before he conk out.
Yeah. But now her door is the entrance of the house.
Which is a speculation that she can either control everyone's powers or whatever.
It's definitely gonna be a part two. Obviously,
I don't think
it's gonna be a part two.
I really don't think they should. I think they kind of have something good, and they should leave it at that.
But there's a lot of exploring they could do, because like the people, because this is why I knew. I think it's gonna be a part two.
Show. The TV show would solve it, not a second movie.
I mean, a TV show would be nice too. I wouldn't mind a TV show, but they never actually introduced the raiders who attacked their old town and killed the husband.
The raiders, I'm pretty sure, are based off European colonization moments.
It could be that, or it could be, because now in Latin America they have raiders. There's regular raiders who's invade towns to steal the women and the crops. So it had to be European people. But which I doubt Disney won't do anyway. I doubt Disney trying to make any white person the villain in this movie. Trust me. I think it's another drug lord or another person in the next village raiding the next village to look for women and
but I feel like they
goods.
shouldn't. I feel like overall they have something.
But I think that's what they're gonna do, because they was never explained. Just like when you remember in the beginning of Mulan. No, but I understand. But you remember in the beginning of Mulan, and Mulan when the what do they call again? What do people call again? When
I don't know,
the Huns, that's what they call it? The Golan man, the Golians or whatever it is. When they invaded the town and did all that and whatever, in the end of the movie, they came back and invaded again, and Mulan had to help fight. So I'm just trying to say, I think they might do something where it's going to be explained how the raiders going to go over the mountain and invade
No, they can't.
Encanto.
The mountain was made to protect them.
I understand, but I think it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be a way they're gonna get inside. Either they might some magical way they find a way, or they probably could set them up where Mirabel might get a love interest, and a young boy must have fallen inside the river or the waterfall, and he end up in the village somehow.
All right,
magically.
I think we make a little wager on that. I'll say they'll make a TV show before they do a second movie. If you think they can make a second movie first, I don't know. We'll see who's right at the end in the next 2 years or so.
I mean, like I said, either way it could happen. It could go either way. It doesn't matter to me. If they do a TV show, I would not be surprised because they could
It's
pay
just
for
for
more
merch,
merch. But if they do another movie, I'm just trying to say the movie will just be based on the Raiders because they'll be the new enemy. The first movie is about getting the family back together and letting the family be them true self. And the second movie be the Raiders who killed the husband, Umbrella's husband, the granddad. And then I'm like I said again, either they're gonna find a way in, or it could be like they send a young boy who's Mirabel's age, who found his way inside, and he could trick Mirabel and the family to release in the mountain to let them inside. I already see that. Disney, give me my cut. Don't just
take
take
this from me.
Give me my cut. Don't take this from me. I already see your writers right
That's your
there
moment. You got all this
listening to this.
documented.
Yes. Listeners of Nerding Wednesday Passing Energy, y'all heard it first. If Disney make this exactly what I say, y'all have my back, please. Thank you. But anyway, so what are our final conclusion on Encanto? I feel like I'm gonna say that.
It's a good movie, it's a good family movie. Watch it with your family. Someone will relate to it. It has its flaws, but overall, it's a really good movie, I would say. I feel like it kind of captures exactly how families kind of interact with one another. Like toxic families, I would say.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I think it says like a million times. It portrays how real family are, not the fictional family of we're perfect. Like Barney, I love you, you love me. No. This is how a real family is. A family that pretends that they're okay and they're not okay. And now how are we going to solve each of our problems? By talking and working through it together. That depiction, there's a lot of hit and miss in there, and we go on and on about. But overall, Encanto was a masterpiece. And to see, like I said, the different skin tones and showing that not all people of color look the same. Even when it came to Umbrella, the three kids, there are light-skinned Colombian, dark-skinned Colombian, mid-tone, and even seeing the other family members. And there's also white Colombians. Just showing all that. Everyone was represented properly. And I appreciate that. But in part 2 of Encanto, we can address a very interesting controversy that's being brewing on TikTok. But until next time, guys, this will be the end of Nerding Wednesday for this segment. Stay tuned for part 2 of Encanto. And peace.